Hey, taking a nature hike, and I came across one of my favorite trees, Sassafras. I love sassafras. See, I was a Boy Scout. I'm an Eagle Scout, actually. And, I'm from the city. And there's, you know, or things used by some of the senior uh, camp staff to get kids to be interested in nature. You know, you come from come from the city, and you go into the woods and you're just like, I want to go home. Is that a bird? Is that a bear? You're just scared. But then, you have those really creative leaders, and they're like, you see that tree over there? You're like, yeah, I see it. He's like, doesn't it look like a dinosaur's paw? And you're like, well, you know what? It sure does look like a dinosaur's paw. And then he's like, well, you have ever had root beer? And you're like, well, yes, I have had root beer. Now, what does that got to do with these woods that I'm scared of? He was like, well, that's a sassafras. And sassafras root is what they used to use to make root beer. And we're like, ooh. So he proceeds to dig up a piece and boils it, and it just smells amazing. And it's like, oh, wow, that's cool. And then he takes the leaf and he crushes it up in his hands, gets the oils flowing, and then he says, smell that. And we're smelling it, and he's like, what does that remind you of? What does that remind you of? And I'm like, smells sweet. He's like, does it smell like Fruit Loops? I'm like, you know what? It smells like Fruit Loops. And I never forgot that. I never forgot sassafras and how it reminds me of Fruit Loops. And the leaves look like dinosaur paws, and the roots are what they used to make root beer. Like, nature for me is such a positive memory. And so I enjoy moments like this, walking in the woods and remembering stuff like that. I'll just get real deep for a minute. So my sister's initials are SAS, Sass. So she passed away tragically 2015. So I had sassafras, the plant, put on my arm as a reminder of two things. And I'll tell you more about that story later. But so I'm gonna walk, and I hope you all are out in the woods or out in nature creating good memories, because you don't need to pull from them maybe once or twice or 3 times. But in the meantime, happy growing, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.